In World War II, Allied tankers learned to fear a specific sound, a sharp, high-pitched crack that arrived before the explosion. It meant only one thing: the 8-8. The German 88mm flak gun, Flugabwehrkanone, was arguably the most feared weapon of the war. Its reputation was built on its ability to destroy any Allied tank fielded in the early and middle years of the conflict.
But the 88 was never meant to fight tanks. It was designed in the 1930s as a high-velocity anti-aircraft gun intended solely to protect German cities from Allied bombers. This is the story of a military design genius, a loophole in post-war treaties, and the desperate battlefield improvisation that transformed an aerial defender into the ultimate tank killer.
After Germany's defeat in World War I, the Treaty of Versailles strictly limited the German military's development of heavy weaponry, especially artillery. To circumvent these restrictions, German manufacturers, notably Krupp, began designing weapons in secret, often in collaboration with neutral nations like Sweden.
The 88mm gun's brilliance lay in two key features: its caliber and its high muzzle velocity. To hit a fast-moving bomber, the shell needed to reach extreme altitudes very quickly. This necessitated a long barrel and a powerful charge, imparting tremendous speed to the projectile. This high velocity translated directly into high kinetic energy. While most anti-tank guns of the time were slow and squat, the 88 was long, sleek, and delivered a piercing blow. The first true field test, however, wasn't against aircraft, but on the ground in the Spanish Civil War. When tested against Russian tanks, German commanders realized they possessed something extraordinary. The gun could hit targets accurately at ranges impossible for conventional anti-tank weapons. The Allies first felt the true terror of the 88 in the vast open plains of North Africa, commanded by Rommel, the Desert Fox. In battles like Hellfire Pass and the Siege of Tobruk, British tanks, including the heavily armored Matilda, were considered virtually impervious to German anti-tank fire. The 37mm and 50mm German anti-tank guns simply bounced off the Matilda's armor. Allied commanders believed they held a decisive advantage. But Rommel employed the 88s by masking them in the dunes, luring the British forward, and then unleashing hell. The 88's shell didn't bounce. It punched straight through the thickest armor, often passing clean through the tank's hull and exiting the other side. The British were stunned. The 88 could knock out a tank from over 2,000 yards, a distance where the British tanks couldn't even fire back accurately. It was a technological ambush. The Flak 88 had forced a tactical revolution. It was no longer just an anti-aircraft gun, it was the definitive anti-tank weapon. When the Germans invaded the Soviet Union, they encountered a new, terrifying opponent, the T-34 tank. The T-34's innovative sloped armor made it resilient, and the standard German anti-tank guns were useless against it. The Wehrmacht faced defeat on the Eastern Front. Once again, the 88 became the savior. It was the only weapon available in sufficient numbers, capable of reliably defeating the T-34 at combat ranges. Its success led to a fundamental tactical change. The 88 was officially integrated into dedicated anti-tank battalions, and often it served as a fire magnet, drawing out the enemy to let smaller, less effective guns engage. But the 88's greatest legacy was its integration into armor. It was the basis for the main guns on the most fearsome German tanks of the war, the Tiger and the King Tiger. The Tiger first carried the 8.8 cm KWK 36 L56. The legendary King Tiger carried the even more powerful 8.8 cm KWK 43 L71, a gun so powerful it could penetrate Allied armor from 2.5 miles away.
The dominance of the 88 forced the Allies into a frantic arms race. They had to immediately redesign their own tanks and anti-tank weaponry. The American M4 Sherman, for example, was continually upgraded, receiving larger, faster guns like the 76mm in direct response to the threat posed by the Tiger and its powerful 88mm armament. The Flak 88 was heavy, slow to deploy, and required a large exposed crew. Yet its firepower was unmatched when properly employed. It was a perfect storm of technical excellence, treaty evasion, and battlefield adaptation. The Germans took a gun designed to shoot down bombers and turned it into the definitive instrument of mechanized warfare. From the sands of North Africa to the frozen plains of Russia, the sharp crack of the 88mm shell was the sound of doom. The Flak 88, a technological marvel that remains a symbol of the terrifying, uncompromising power of German engineering in World War II.